Hello and welcome to another weekly vlog. I've got this on. I'm hoping it's making some sort of difference. You know what? I can't check if it's making any difference because um, my phone's Bluetooth connected to the car. So when you try to play back video in the car, it I'm trying to put it somewhere that it's not going to rub off anything. You can't play sound through the car unless you disconnect the Bluetooth, and I'm not about to do all that. So if it doesn't work, I'll just record what I'm saying on the way home again. So you can probably tell from the state of my hair where I'm going. I am going to the hairdressers. All my greys are showing. My hair, I'm getting a bit worried about how frizzy my hair is. I've even been tempted to dye it back dark again, but my brain keeps going, Lisa, the minute you do that, you're still going to be really annoyed at the condition of it, but it's not going to be the colour you want. And I'm very conscious that the older you get, the darker your hair is, the worse it looks. Almost every woman, as they age, they lighten their hair for 101 reasons. Darker hair is more harsh, and the upkeep when you go grey is ridiculous. So anyway, going to get the old hair done today. Isaac has his first after school. They have to stay Monday and Wednesday after school this week, and the week after half term. Next week is half term. It's not going to be a fun week because it's going to be massive amounts of revision, unfortunately, but what can you do? He has to stay late for science studies class to prepare because the science exam that he's got at the end of February, this is the 2nd of Feb. So the science he's got at the end of Feb goes towards his actual GCSE grade. I think it's only like 11%, which I'm not understanding why they're doing an exam worth 11%, but they are. You'd think it would be like at least 25 or 40, 11%. So they have to stay after. And so it's not. It didn't come home on the message saying it was voluntary. The message was very much, this is the classes that we're doing to ensure that the pupils, blah blah blah. I think if you didn't want your kid to go, or if your kid couldn't go for whatever reason, then that would probably be fine. They probably be frowned upon a little bit, but they can't make you. You know what I mean? But Isaac, like, you don't have to, and I'm like, yes, you do have to, because with the amount of study we have to do, and we haven't even looked at science. I will show you later. Jesus wept. The how thick the big science revision books they've given them for GCSE, and this is single award science. What I mean by that is you can either do single or double award science. Now, I thought that meant when I was at school, you picked biology, chemistry, and physics. It wasn't under the umbrella of science, it was 3 separate subjects. The minute I got to GCSE, I dropped physics and chemistry and did biology. Now, I thought that's what Isaac would be able to do, and that would have been his preference as well, because biology is by far the easiest of the 3. But no, you can do some single or double award science. Double award science is more complex, and it's the equivalent of 2. I think two GCSEs. Single award science, you still have to study all 3 subjects, but it's not as complex. But it's still pretty complex. It still covers everything that they've done up to that point, and then some more. So if they're giving them big thick tomes that they're giving them for their single award science exam, what the hell are the double award science guys? So you only do single award science if you're really fucking shit at science, because you have to pick science. Now, I think that's grossly unfair. You've always had to do English and maths, fair enough. But in that school, you also have to do science and RE. I vehemently disagree with both of those. For the English, you also have to do English language and English literature, 2 separate subjects. So basically, maths, English, English literature, either single or double award science and RE. So 5 or 6 of your 9 GCSEs are predetermined. They are chosen for you. You have no choice. So if you're doing double award science, you've only got 3 other subjects to choose. So it's just, I don't agree with it. And then even at that, there may be a subject that you want to do that you can't because it's in the wrong block, meaning that they can't facilitate the classes for it, which is bollocks, which is why Isaac wasn't able to do digital technology. He would have done that instead of history, but he couldn't because there wasn't the block for it, which I think is preposterous. Anyway, I was going to tell you about last night. Now, I've told you before that Isaac has this habit of we find out the night before something's due in, that it's due in the next day, and the only reason we find out is because a teacher posts on Google Classroom or Teams, class, don't forget such and such is due tomorrow, and it's like, Isaac, what the fuck's this? Oh, I didn't know what was. Why did you not know? I don't know. All he says is I don't know. You were told specifically to put it now. We have ballsed Isaac out for this so many times purely because it has happened so many times. It happened again twice in the last, I'd say, couple of weeks for English. And Darren went to town. Right, if this happens, I'm fucking fed up with this, because then I'm forced to help him with it so it can get handed in the next day, and that's my time again. And it's like, he done it again this week. Now, if it had been any other week, I would have made him go in and face the consequences of not having done it. Unfortunately, the teacher would have then said, right, do it for the next class, which is Tuesday, and he's got his Spanish oral on Tuesday and his Spanish written essay on Thursday of this week, and he needs all of the evening to go over it. He doesn't have time to do any other work. So we can't do that because it's going to affect his exam score. So wait to hear what it was. You maybe remember, and this is one of the things that he neglected to say was due, that a couple of weeks ago I had to sit down with him and do a 36, we did in the end, different shots for a story. They were given a script and they had to write what type of shot it was, what angle it was, what the shot movement was, description of scene, noise, lighting, blah blah blah. And we'd done that, 36 of them. So I helped him with that 2 weeks ago when he forgot it wasn't. And Darren's like, but what did you think it was going to do? Disappear? You still have to do the work. And he generally, it's not because he doesn't want to do it, it's because he's so clear headed. He doesn't write down in his homework diary when it's due, and he forgets. And yesterday, we're at my dad's, as usual, on a Sunday, and I'm Google Classroom, I'm looking at it, and I said, Isaac, your moving image arts teacher has put a thing here about a website that you can use to upload large files so they're not compressed. What's this? Oh, that's for the shots that we did last week that we have to make into a film. I'm like, what? I says, you didn't say when we chose all those shots that you were going to have to make them into a film, because I didn't know this had to be filmed in our house. So I could have chosen things like a hall table. We don't have a hall table. I says, I didn't know that this was going to have to actually be filmed. I says, when's this due for? Oh, they'll tell us tomorrow. I says, do you know when this is due for? Oh, they'll tell us tomorrow. Do you want me to ask in Google Classrooms? No, they'll tell us tomorrow. Then I saw a comment from Stephen, Isaac's friend, on Google Classrooms last Wednesday, asking the teacher. Now, Stephen is always late with everything. He's not the most diligent kid. I think he's one of these last minute, as Isaac would be, if I let him. So he, what was I saying? He had asked a question. Basically, the script is a mother and her teenage son, and he had asked, could his sister play the part of his mum, and could he change it so that it's siblings, because basically his mum must have said, well, I'm not fucking doing it, I'm not being in it, and his sister has said she'll do it, and he wants to film his brother and his sister as the two people in the clip. Now Isaac had to do it with him as the person in the clip because there is no other, he doesn't have brothers and sisters, there's only me and him and Darren. and it would be me and Darren in the video, on which, you know, it's supposed to be a mother and son, so I was in it, obviously. And he dropped it on me yesterday when I got moving face with hair like this. I was like, great, so this is going to be seen by your whole class with me looking like a fucking scarecrow. Brilliant. So I said, Isaac, I said, Stephen's put this message on asking about filming this last Wednesday. I said, Stephen never does things well in advance. If he's asking last Wednesday about this, are you sure this isn't due? No. I says, right, text Stephen now and ask him when this is due. I texted Stephen, tomorrow. We found out at 4:30 that he needed to have an entire film with 36 shots that we have already predetermined done for the next day. So what the fuck were we doing last night? Filming this fucking thing. And it's not good. It better not be going towards GCSE, because I said, Isaac, this is something that we should have done over the course of several days. We could have taken the time to set up, because as well, obviously it was evening, it was dark, the lighting was terrible. We could have done things like, Darren's got like extra lights in the garage, we could have had the lights out and set it up, and everything could have been done really well. But we had to half-arse this, cobble this thing together last night when we got home from my dad's. So Darren went fucking ballistic, as you can expect. And he said, I told you what was going to happen the next time you did this. We're in Dublin next week to see Motionless in White, which is Isaac's favourite band. It's the concert he wants to see more than any other concert. Darren says, right, that's it, you're not going. Now, I'm like, I don't want to do that, because they were expensive tickets, and I know it is the band he wants to see more than any other band, and he's been talking about this gig for like 6 months, maybe more actually. And I don't know what's going to happen, but Darren says, that's it, you're not going. He says, I've fucking had it with this. He said, the only thing that's going to make you change is if you don't get to do things. He said, we warned you about this. He said, this is about the 5th time you've done this in a couple of months. And he says, you cannot be that fucking stupid about stuff that you know, oh, I know, I don't need to write things down. And he said, this is happening in every subject at this point. And this is only the ones we're finding out about. If the teachers put fucking bin lorries in front of me. Thank God I left really early. I'll put you back on with the thing out, the mic out, because I don't know if it'll have recorded or not, to show you what I mean about this frizzy hair. If Suze is watching this, Darren says, ask Suze, don't ask your hairdresser, because she'll spin you another yarn. She'll tell you another load of crap. I'm worried about how bad of condition my hair is, and I'm thinking, by having this done, it's about every 8 to 10 weeks, am I just frying my hair? She only does the highlights once every 3 or 4 times, but I'm not bothered about the condition on the I'm not bothered about the condition on the roots or the mids. It's the ends, and also there's a couple of places I've noticed that hair has broken off, like quite a lot of hair. I'm going to show you actually when I get parked up. Well, it could be that this has picked up absolutely nothing, so it could be immaterial. Right, I'm going to put this off. Okay, we're back to normal microphone. Wait to see this. I almost don't want to let it down. I washed it last night. It's got nothing on it but shampoo and a tiny bit of conditioner on the ends. Right. Can I find the piece? Right. I found this last night. And there's one on the other side, there it is. So obviously my hair is all the same length. But something's broken off there and broken off there. The end of it, when I wash it, is so... That's been in a bun, that's why it's wavy like that. It's so dry, it's so frizzy. And I mean, every time I go in, she cuts my hair. don't really want it cut every time, but I say to her, if it needs it, cut it. So, I mean, my question is there anything, you know, am I ruining my hair by having this done every 8 to 10 weeks? I don't know, I'm not sure. But my hair was always, I've got frizzy coarse hair, that's always been the case, even when it was black, so I don't really want to have to go back to box dye, because I like the fact it's like different, you know, it's different colours running through, and I'm always really happy when she's done it. I don't know if my hair's going to maintain the upkeep, if you know what I mean, maintain this going forward, because once you've started you're sort of stuck, aren't you? But anyway, let's go in and get the old noggin seen to. I will be much more presentable when I see you next. Hello. How much fucking better is that? Honestly. Like, anytime I get my hair done, I'm like, why do I keep getting tempted to change it back dark again when I see it, when it's just newly done? I always really love the colour. It's soft. My hair's never soft like this. So Isaac was meant to go to that science class. The whole class turned up. Why is there a sign in the music room's window taped to the outside? See if something... So anyway, the whole class went after school and the science teacher didn't show up. They waited from 3:30 until 5 to 4, and people went, right, well fuck this, and they all just left. So I mean, that's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, that the teacher unless he was showing up for 4 o'clock, but you'd have thought it was like an after school class, unless they were told what time it should be. I've no idea. So Isaac sends me a message, I'm on my way, the science teacher didn't show. So I had to come into the hairdresser to get my car keys to get his guitar to go to his lesson, and I'm outside his lesson right now. He's due in there in 5 minutes and I haven't seen him yet, so he better be hurrying his arse on. So what, having all these kids in a week where they've got exams and the teacher doesn't show, and loads of the kids will have missed their buses, and now they'll be forced to wait about until when the end of the class would have been to be picked up. What a fucking nightmare. Right, I'm gonna go phone Isaac, make sure he's near to here, because he's got 5 minutes to get to his appointment. Yeah, I'll check in with you later. Just watching the world go by as I wait in Isaac's outside his guitar shop. I don't know if I can turn this around. Can you see those little lights at the top? That's where Isaac's doing his guitar lesson. Yep, I can't spin you around anymore. That's the town hall just opposite me there, with 1684 to 1928 on it. It's not really used anymore. There's a place just down beyond it that's used. I don't know what goes on in there anymore, to be honest, if anything. Everybody's finishing work. I went into a little shop called, here comes some kittywinks. I went into a little shop called Wise Buys, which is like a family run business that's been open, well, as long as I remember, so it has to be nearly 50 years, and they're closing down because the owner's retiring. And I thought, oh, I'll go in and see if I can find any bits and bobs. It was a 75% off sale, and nope, the shop is almost cleaned, pure empty. And they sell like tea lights, but they're double the height, double the thickness, and I really wanted to get some tea lights for my like oil burners or wax burners, but the fucking shop's empty. And I wanted some black roses, potentially orange roses, for that bat vase that Kelly got me for Christmas or my birthday. I can't remember which way around it was, but nope, all of the fucking flowers are gone as well. Fucking nightmare. I don't know anywhere else in the town that sells like fake flowers. No idea. I've turned you around purely, I know I wasn't going to film anymore today, but I want to find out from Isaac what the crack with his teacher is, so I can ask him when he comes back in. We're still orange, that's good. See, why could I not have had to film is moving image arts project tonight when I'm presentable, when my hair's tidy, not like the fucking bush it was yesterday. Oh, I've got a headache. There's a surprise. One day I didn't have headache in the last 2 weeks was yesterday. And I made the mistake of saying last night, well, Darren was talking about headache, and he said, do you still have your headache? And I'm like, no. Here comes Isaac. Right, it's 16:59, so he hasn't even kept him for the full half hour, and he's had to have time to walk from upstairs and round the corner. So we're paying for half hour and not getting half hour, obviously. How come he let you out before 5?
What?
He's let you out before 5?
His phone said 5. I think the car's wrong.
The car's not wrong, is it? Because it's the same as my... He's diddling us money on bloody lessons. Yeah. Well, for you to be able to walk downstairs, round the corner, he's let you out at 5 too.
Not 5 2.
Yeah, but we're paying for half an hour, Isaac. I expect him to bloody have you for half an hour.
That's stupid.
Right, the car's not fucking moving because I haven't got it in drive. I've missed my chance now. What?
What are you talking about?
I was going to ask you about this science teacher and what the crack is.
Oh, he just didn't show up. What you got? He was talking about it in science class, and then everybody went, and we waited for like 30 minutes.
I know.
And all the chairs were up, the lights were off, his laptop wasn't there.
Did he tell you what time the class was meant to start?
Yeah, it was meant to start at 3:30 at his room.
And you knew where it was. Maybe he had a family emergency or something, but still they should have got a message to you. So you all stood there for half an hour?
Yeah. Then we left.
That's wrong. Did everybody leave?
Yeah.
Did everyone stay or just some of you?
Everybody stayed for the 30 minutes.
Well, you see, the message that went home was very much like you should all be there. So what's he going to do now? That's not on. Honestly. So he's had a full class of... Did nobody go to the office and say, we're meant to have...
We did, and they said that they don't know.
Right.
Because they can't drag him after school.
Well, that's fine. It's just, if there had been a family emergency, you would have thought the office would know. So he's just gone home and forgot.
Idiot.
Is he a bit ditzy?
No.
He's not. When I say ditzy, I mean like forgetful a bit. No? Oh, I don't know. I thought we were going to get a story about that, but obviously not. So the teacher just hasn't showed up for a class full of kids that are there after school to do their exam for preparation and revision. That's just disgraceful. There will be kids, Isaac, that won't have been able to get their buses home. Now, you were lucky that I was in, so it doesn't really affect you in a big way because you had to stay. If I had changed your guitar lesson, which I was going to try and do to completely inconvenience everyone, but I decided not to. It's just wrong. What? How did moving image arts go?
He was off.
So all of that we did last night, and he was off today.
Mm-hmm.
How can teachers just... The amount of times that Isaac says they weren't in, that was a cover class, they were off, they're away, it's like, how many teachers can just not show into class on the day that people have bust their arse, meaning us, trying to get that thing finished for last night?
Where are we going?
Home.
Why this way?
Because it's the quickest way, because the town centre is full of traffic, because everybody's getting out of work at this time. So this is like a road that not many people use.
So what are we talking about?
I wanted to ask you about science, which I've done, and I am asking you about moving image arts, and the teacher wasn't in. So what did you do in class?
We just edited the films. I added in all my clips, and I arranged them right. And
well, I had numbered them 1 to 36, so
you
you shouldn't
put them in one by one.
Yeah, I know. I've edited before, Isaac, believe it or not. So did you get a chance to look for any sound effects or anything like that?
I have 2 sound effects on me.
Right. It's going to take you quite a while. Do you know when you could do with when he's in finding out the end date for completion?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's the facility to do it at home or anything. If you need to.
We're not allowed to do it now.
What?
It's meant to be watched. We have teachers in there watching us when we're doing it, so we can't cheat.
Well, it's not. You're not. This better not be towards GCSE, Isaac.
What do you call it? What was I going to say? This isn't meant in a mean way, this is meant in a curious way. Who watches these?
Alan, Kelly, Kermit's Ghost. Kelly, sometimes Sue, sometimes Kelly and Shannon in America. There's another couple of people that periodically watch a little bit. Well, I get more views than people that I know that watches it. So either the people that I know that watches it in bits, or other people are watching it that I'm not aware of. They don't get many views, but Isaac, it's not for other people, it's for me.
How long are your videos usually?
What?
How long are your videos usually?
Well, anything between the shorter ones are like half an hour, the longer ones are over an hour.
How do people sit through YouTube videos that long?
I do.
How bored do you have to be?
As opposed to watching 100 1-minute videos of crap. I'd rather find out what someone's doing in their life that I like. Suze did vlogs for the whole of December, Vlogmas, and she did at least half an hour every day for every single day, and I watched every single one of them and enjoyed them mightily so.
How bored do you have to be?
No, it's not, Isaac. It's about being interested in what's going on in other people's lives.
It's called being nosy.
Yeah, it's that too. I am nosy. I'm not quite as nosy as your dad yet, but I'm nosy.
Yes, you are.
He curtain twitches, I don't.
So do you.
No, Isaac, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Nope,
Yes, you do.
When have you seen me curtain twitch?
When Bridget over the road, there is a new baby. You said, "Oh, go look out the window. I think there's another baby." And you made Dad go look out the window. Then you
No,
made him.
he was stood up, Isaac.
You made him.
As a matter of fact, there was a new baby across the road, but I thought it was someone else's because I thought she was too old to be having babies. I thought she was like in her 50s. Turns out I don't know what age she is, but she's got, her oldest kid is probably about 7. Then she's got one, not 6 or 7. She's got one that's 4, or she's a year older. She's maybe 5. And then she's got a new baby called, hang on to remember this, because it's that dog, Fenton.
She makes like posh ass names like Tranquilizer or something.
Fenton.
Fentanyl.
And honest to God, the woman looks in her late 50s. Ever since I first known her, she looked in her late 50s, and then she was pregnant with the girl that she had, and now she's had a boy, and she is one of twins, so twins run in her family, so it's like she's very, very, very religious, and she thinks that she goes around wearing the Choose Life t-shirts, but not because she's a George Michael fan. She's very anti-abortion. She supports Trump because he's anti-abortion. It doesn't matter about all the other stuff he does, like the fact he's a paedophile. That's irrelevant. He doesn't agree with abortion.
How do you know she supports Trump?
Because Kira told me.
What the hell? Wasn't he like on every Epstein file?
Probably, Isaac.
Well, I found something out really funny about Epstein. He was a
Nothing
really
funny about that man.
no, he was a really big Five Nights at Freddy's fan.
Well, there you go.
And he commented on a Markiplier video at one point, and people are trying to find the video currently. So that's pretty cool. That's not cool.
What do we all reckon of the new pictures that have come out of Prince Andrew?
Oh, I've seen them.
And there was something else. All the emails between Fergie and Epstein where she says, "Marry me." Prince Andrew's ex-wife is called Sarah Ferguson. Everybody calls her Fergie, and she was very close friends with Epstein after he was a convicted paedophile and had served time in prison. Anyway, what's the world coming to? Like, this woman, we're talking about it today. It seems to be if you're of certain status in the world, and mainly we're talking Prince Andrew and Trump, just as 2 examples, you're untouchable. You can do whatever you want. Look at the stuff that Trump has done. Any other president would have been impeached by now, but he's still there. And Andrew, I mean, honestly, he just needs put down. The both of them do. How the hell Trump hasn't been assassinated at this point, I will never understand. But there's, like Darren says, there's a lot of people in America making an awful lot of money because of Trump. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, and I say this as well, and you'll think I'm awful, I'm going to say it anyway. See, if I was one of these people that was suicidal,
Kill Trump.
Yeah, I'd say, why do you not want to do something useful before you go?
There should be an organisation for that. Like, if you want to die, like, do something. Like, kill Hitler. He's dead.
Do something of memory. Now, this sounds awful that you're talking about killing people, but I think the world would be a better place if Trump wasn't in it.
Alive?
No.
How long has he been dead?
He apparently hung himself in prison, but a lot of people say he didn't. He was killed.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Either way, I don't really care. He's not here anymore, and the world is a better place for it. But if you're going to shuffle off this mortal coil,
what?
Do something good before you go.
If you're going to do what?
It's an old expression.
Shuffle off this mortal coil.
It means lie.
You
die.
Show.
Shuffle off this mortal coil.
Just say if you're going to die.
Yeah. Not that that's ever going to happen, because I am not suicidal, nor will I ever be. But then again, nobody knows what's going to come in life, but I can't ever see it happening. But I can never understand why, if life was shit and you didn't want to do it anymore, think of the good that you could do before. You could, instead of shuffling off this mortal coil, you could become a vigilante.
Why do you keep saying that?
You could, because you don't like it, so I'm going to say it more. You could
then I'm going to start farting and turning the car.
Well, you do that anyway.
What else annoys you?
Have you got any homework? Think very carefully about the answer.
Yes.
For what?
English.
What is it?
It's due for Wednesday, though.
Right, but you have to do your revision for Spanish essay.
I know, but I have more time.
What is the English homework?
It's a plan for VEE paragraphs. But there's a ton of them.
A plan for
It's like an entire double-sided page.
Do you know what you're doing?
Yep. I'll do it tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow? Have you got English tomorrow?
No.
It's
sure? Due for Wednesday.
Right, can I suggest... if you get a cover class, can you do whatever you want?
Yep.
Well, can I suggest you tack your English book into class, and if you get a cover class...
Okay.
I feel really sick. And I've got a really bad headache.
You know what we should have for tea tonight?
I said don't say pizza.
Pizza!
Well, I know what your dad's making for us, because he has to make that chicken.
Does it include an oven?
No, he uses air fryer for everything.
The pizza can go in the air fryer.
Isaac, I don't know. I would not be trying to get your dad to do something for you right now after last night's debacle. He's still annoyed about that. He's still shouting and cross. And I mean, I have to take loads of it as well.
I can make my chin disappear.
Right, I think I'm getting a migraine. Fabulous.
Well, that's not good.
Pains in... Got pain in my jaw, and that's what happens. But the problem is Isaac has his Spanish oral exam tomorrow, and he needs to revise, and someone will need to...
I'll get, Dad to... No.
Your dad?
Dobby. She's Mexican.
Right, you need to, Isaac, take the 2 sheets, and you need to go over them, make sure you know them, and then I will ask you them, but I can't be sitting for hours tonight doing anything with that, because I'm getting a migraine. I can feel it coming. If it gets really bad, I'll not be able to do anything.
Okay.
I've got all them birds.
Can I try and drive?
No.
Alright.
It's illegal, Isaac. Forgot what I was going to say. Nope, it's gone. Right, I'll switch you off, because I just wanted to update you with what was going on with that teacher. It didn't show up. So the teacher didn't show up, and the thing that we busted our arse for to get done last night, the teacher wasn't in on the day that the thing was due. It must be a blast being a teacher these days. They do sod all. Right, I shall catch up with you probably tomorrow. Hello, it's Friday. I'm trying to work out why my internet on the TV has suddenly stopped working. Also on my laptop. What's gone on? Press that to check network status. Not connected to the internet. Well, I realise that. Let's go reboot it and then I'll come back to you. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Why does this beep all the time? So, let me catch you up from... so a little bit dark, but I'm not getting out my ring light. Let me catch you up from yesterday. Now, you may remember the debacle with the filming of the video that we found out for Isaac's moving image arts. So, how long have I been ranting and raving about CM3s and the exams being the week after half term and when are they, and every day I'm saying to Isaac, have you got your timetable yet? Have they told you when they are yet? Blah, blah, blah. Daily I'm going on about this. So he comes home from school yesterday. And that GCSE English that he did in November of last year, he did 30% of his English GCSE and they got the result back. How they give it back is just a grade. So he'll have to do 2 more exams for English language and then I don't know how many for English literature because my head's fried. There's so many different, it's not like just one exam now, they set multiple. So anyway, this exam that he sat, he got a C. We've already sort of like kissed goodbye to him doing digital technology because he's not going to get a B in his English and maths. If we can get him through with a C, we're doing well. So he got a C, which they actually put the marks that you get on the next page. And he got 72 out of 120, I think. Basically, I worked out the percentage and it was 60%, which is the bottom of a C. A C is 60 to 67. A C star is 67 to, I can't remember. But I can't remember the grading. The B's are somewhere in the 70s and the A, I think, is 85 plus and an A star is 92 plus, something like that. So we got a C, which means he passed that section, but I'm trying to explain to him, Isaac, you've still several exams to start, so you need to keep at least that up to get a C or we're connected again, happy days. So I was watching a video about the world's biggest theme park accidents. It's really not a good idea when you're going to a theme park later this year, but that's what I was watching. Scary stuff. I'm one of these people that always thinks something's going wrong with a ride. I'm terrible. I've got my laptop out because I'm going to do a little bit of ancestry work on my tree today. I have a DNA match. Like a few years ago, I actually did the ancestry DNA thing and it gave me my, let me see if I can get it up and I'll tell you exactly what it is. Basically, they improved the technology multiple times and you get updates that are more specific to, it's still something to tell you about Isaac's school. But I'll tell you what I bought at Darren one for Christmas, which he has sent away, but apparently it takes up to 6 weeks to come back. So my results summary, here we go. So boring, so boring. So it gives me a list of all relatives that I have that have done the test. So my cousin, my actual real cousin, my dad's brother's son, is the only close relative I know that's done it, and he comes up as either first cousin or half uncle or something like that. So it's like this, he's either this or this, and it's like, yep, he is, he's my first cousin. So everyone else is like a further out relative, but there's a guy I'm trying to match. He's called Pat Winters. He lives in Scotland and he is related to me via my granddad on my mum's side. My granddad on my mum's side, I know so little about his family. About his mum, I got quite a bit, but his dad, nothing, because the person that raised my granddad is not his biological dad. I'm not interested in finding out about his biological dad. I would like to find out about his dad, but I'm never going to find that out via Ancestry because it's not a DNA link. But anyway, there's a whole link I have to Scotland, and he's got the surname, he's got the right area, what's it called in the south of Ireland? Monaghan he's from, which this relative I have is from Monaghan. They have the same surname, which is Winters. I know that he is related in that branch. I'm looking and looking and looking, and I've been trying for so long to match him, but he knows so little about his family tree, it's hard. Anyway, so I'm going to have a look at that this afternoon. My YouTube's still not working, even though the TV, let me go to applications, force stop. I'm sick doing this. So, oh, I was going to tell you my DNA, wasn't I? Jesus, I'll tell you how bad my memory is. Origins. So, I have 5 ancestral regions. Number 1 is Central, oh, that's gone up. Central Scotland and Northern Ireland is 40%.
Connacht in Ireland, which is down south, is 23%. Leinster in Ireland is 23%. Donegal in Ireland is 10%, and Munster in Ireland is 4%. Now, that was updated October 2025. Previously, I got quite excited because I got 1% in Cornwall and 0.something% somewhere like Norway. And I'm like, oh my God, something different. So you can see the map there, the actual areas. That's my areas. How fucking dull is that? So basically Ireland and Scotland, that's it. I'm hoping Darren's comes back with something a bit more exciting on. And then it has a list of all my relatives. Let me show you those. It's really interesting if you're, and they did a half price offer, which is when I got it. So, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. You can maybe see at the top someone called Gary McQuillan. That's my dad's brother's son. He's a pilot. And he comes up, paternal side, 11% shared DNA, first cousin, and I've got him linked to my tree. And the guy I'm trying to find is the guy second on that last, Pat Winters. But anyway, it's interesting, but I digress. So I was going to tell you about, so Isaac comes home. He got a score for his English. And he goes, oh, and we did our history today as well. And I'm like, what? Now, you know the trouble I had with the history teacher and the complaint that we made about the history teacher. So Isaac did quite poorly in his history at Christmas, and I said, you can't repeat that. You have to, for this, you have to put the work in. And me and Isaac did a ton of work. Sorry, I'm just trying to reset my TV. We did a ton of work on history at Christmas, and he still didn't pull a very good mark. So he went in, he did his RE on Wednesday, which he didn't tell us about, and he did his history yesterday, which is Thursday, which he did not tell us about. When they were told in school that the tests would be coming up, did he write them in his homework diary? Did he? Hell. Now, everybody knows that a teacher's going to say, don't forget class, CM3 next week, CM3 tomorrow, CM3 next Thursday. Teachers will have told them multiple times when their test is. At no point, every single day, I'm asking, have you found this? When's that? I'm writing in his homework diary, revision for this, for that. No point did he say, oh, well, we've already done that, because I think the long and short of it is he didn't want to revise. Now, he was already revising for Spanish. That he knows when I know a test's happening, I make him revise. So for RE, I was cross, but it's RE. History, I said, Isaac, the end of this month, we have got parent-teacher meetings, and we have to sit in front of all these teachers. I said, we have made a complaint about this guy and his method of teaching and his attitude. And you've gone into his exam knowing nothing, no revision. I said, you did poorly with a shit ton of revision. How the hell are you going to have done well with no? I think I've done really well. We just had to write they had to write an essay about the opposition to Hitler. And I think I've done really well. He also thought he'd done really well in multiple exams at Christmas and didn't. He did quite badly at Christmas, to be honest. And to tell you I just wanted to blow a gasket would be, he deliberately kept when the exams were from me, didn't write them down. We have gone over this thing about writing stuff down so many times till I'm blue in the face, and I've said, Isaac, you can't be doing this. And I know I can't go into school and say to these teachers, can you put it on Google Classroom or Teams when there's a test? Because he's not telling us and he's forgetting to write it down, and me neither, sorry. It's like people that can't go to Scouts tonight. Multiple leaders by the look of things. So, because they're going to say, and quite rightly, the kids need to learn to organise themselves, to prepare themselves, to take ownership and accountability for themselves. The parents shouldn't be doing that for them, and they'd be right. So I can't go in and say, if you don't put up when the test is on Google Classroom, he's not going to write it down, he's going to forget when it is, and he's going to do jack shit. I've told Isaac that when we go to these meetings, I am going to be telling his teachers that's exactly what he does, and I will be. I'll be saying, look, I apologise for whatever score he has pulled in that last test, but he went into that test with no revision because he didn't write it down. That's Darren coming in. And he's gone in with fuck all preparation. So to say I was fucking angry last night, is saying something that I was beyond angry.
You were angry to the point of silence.
I can't, because I've gone over this so many times, but for him to do it for an exam, not just homework. So the question was an essay about opposition to Hitler. Now, there's 2 whole full booklets he has done in opposition to Hitler. The main opposition to Hitler was, I'll give you an example, Operation Valkyrie. Everybody knows about it because Tom Cruise was in a film about it. It was a failed assassination attempt on Hitler. That's massive opposition to Hitler. There was the church's opposition to Hitler, because he didn't believe in God and church, and he wanted his own faith and religion, his own church. It's called the German Unified Church. Anyway, if I'd revised, I would know what it was. Also, there was opposition within the armed forces against Hitler. And on top of all that, there was opposition from young people by joining certain youth groups, like the White Rose group, like the Edelweiss Pirates. And these were like groups of young people. Some of them did things like march, distribute leaflets, speak up about their thoughts and feelings. Some did things like anti-Nazi songs, anti-Nazi graffiti, starting fights. And I think the Edelweiss Pirates actually was responsible for killing a member of the Gestapo as well. Anyway, Isaac's entire essay was about the youth groups. He didn't mention Operation Valkyrie. He didn't mention opposition from the church. He didn't mention opposition within the army, and he thinks he's done really well. And I'm like, Isaac, what was it out of? 16, he said. Right. I said, if that was out of 16 and you took those 4 main places, would you agree that that's about 4 points each? Yes. I says, right, if you have done a perfect job of writing about those youth groups, you've got 4 out of 16. I says, you haven't mentioned any of the other 3. I says, when you multiply that it come out at like something like 30-something%. I says, if you come home with that, how are we allowed to stand on with this teacher? Because I can't say it's your teaching techniques if he can show me a list of other kids' scores that aren't that. I'm livid. I'm still angry. Anyway, he's meant to be going up to Belfast on Saturday to visit this girl at her house that was down at ours last week. And I'm like, it's kind of a big deal that he show up, because her parents want to see that I think it's a girlfriend and he's not letting on. Her parents want to see that he's showing the effort. That man came down here and sat for 2.5 hours so that they could watch a film together. And if I say, right, well, Isaac's not going because Isaac did this, that's him shot in the foot right away, because the minute the parents of a teenage girl find out he's lied, he's disrespected his parents, he's gone in, if they found that out, because I would have to explain why I've grounded him, because that was what Darren wanted to do. And I'm sitting talking to Darren, what am I going to do? He wanted to not let him go, and I'm trying to think of the wider implications of not letting him go, and it could be this like friendship, and it's like, we need to learn. So we came up with, last night was Thursday, tonight's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no gaming of any description, no video calls, none of that shit. He's just not doing anything like that. And half-term week, he usually stays up online till like 2 o'clock. I says, right, you're coming off at 11 o'clock every night on half-term week. You're not. So that's 4 days of ban. And if you've got a teenage boy, or if you've had a teenage boy, you will know what a big deal it is to ban them for days over the weekend from their gaming. This is my rather lackluster protein shake. I'm 4 pounds away from where I was last September. Basically, when my mum passed, I stopped trying to make an effort with losing weight and stuff. Some people would stop eating, I was the opposite. I troughed. Christmas, I always eat loads, so I'd put on about 3/4 of a stone from, almost actually closer to a stone from where I'd been at when I was making progress. And I've been trying to, I haven't been exercising because I've been too painful, but I've been trying to eat a bit better. So I'm down to 4 pounds to go to be where I was at last September. So then we can sort of like get back on the horse when the weather picks a bit. Hopefully the pain will stop a little bit. I've no idea. But yeah, so Isaac's banned off everything until Monday, and then from Monday he has to come off the stuff at 11 o'clock at night. So we're allowing him to go to this thing on Saturday, because I feel like the implications of not letting him go is going to come across to his parents and to her as really bad people's going to be saying, you shouldn't have let him go. You should have to learn a lesson. But I'm like that. I want to encourage different friendships because, like, he can't put all his eggs in one basket with Stephen because Stephen has other friends that stays over at his. So Isaac needs to broaden the old social circle a bit, and I certainly wouldn't want to get in the way if it is a girlfriend. I don't want to hamper him going forward. But that made Darren even crosser, and he's shouting and he's like, your mother's still putting you first after you've done this to her again, blah, she's broken, blah, blah, blah. He's right, I was broken. I was at the stage where I just wanted to cry because I'm like, Isaac, why can you not understand the importance of this year and next year? It's your whole future. It's going to shape where you go to school. It's going to shape whether you have to start again at a new place or you stay with your friends. It's going to shape what you end up doing in life. I even went as far as saying to him, you don't want to tell your kids your own mistakes. Darren purposely never wants to talk about it because he didn't apply himself in school and he left with basically no qualifications. And Darren isn't thick. You probably know from, like, he's not stupid, but he never applied himself in school and didn't have any pressure to apply himself in school, and consequently just never got a decent job. I did my GCSEs and I did really well in my GCSEs, and then I did my A-levels and I didn't do as well as I should have done. I did well enough to get into uni in Scotland or England, but as I've discussed before, I wasn't allowed to go. If I had applied myself, I would have got into the universities in Northern Ireland. They needed A stars and A's to get in, and I didn't get A stars and A's in my A-levels. But if I had have applied myself and in my head, right, this is what I need to achieve, I could have achieved it. But I met a boy when I was 17 and he was musical. He used to busk at the same place that Isaac busks right now. It was all about this boy, and I was a teenager and that's where my brain was, and I didn't want to go to university because then I would be leaving him. But if my smart brain had a clicked in, it would have said, well, do better getting over here, and nothing changes. But I was so caught up in this relationship that actually in the long run, the guy turned out to be an alcoholic. He started doing drugs. He was physically abusive, emotionally, mentally abusive. I had to have him arrested. It was bad. And all of that was happening at the age of 18. But I didn't tell Isaac any of that second bit. He doesn't. I said, look, my entire future was determined by two things: not being given the opportunity by my parents because they thought uni was a waste of time and money, and I wasn't going to be going unless it was at home, and I would have to commute from home. I wouldn't be allowed to stay away from home. And because I didn't apply myself well enough because I knew better, I wanted to be in this, anyway. And I'm telling him this and I'm saying to him, I don't want you to do what I did. I don't want you to miss the opportunity. We won't hold you back. We'll support wherever you want to go. But for the sake of sitting on Fortnite or gaming or chatting to your mates, just for this year, the rest of this year and next year, this is the 2 years you must apply yourself. But for you to be lying to me about when you have exams, especially for a subject where we have an issue with the teacher, I says, we don't have a leg to stand on when we go into that parent-teacher meeting because he's going to pull up a list of scores. But I think I've done really well. And I said, Isaac, you've told me what the essay question was and you've told me what you wrote. That's not a good, you've left out 3/4 of the opposite. As a matter of fact, I said, do you think a couple of youth clubs full of children is any opposition when you compare it to the entire church, the whole army, and assassination plots? It's like, I don't know where to go with it. So I'm so fucking angry. I've spoken for 20 minutes about it, but I had to put that in because when I look back at all this, hopefully one day and go, thank God that's over. Also, I want anybody that's got kids younger that's coming up to all this to hear all this shit, so that it maybe Suze has got girls and Kelly's got a girl, and girls are so much easier education wise. They do apply themselves more. I've heard this from the parents that have both boys and girls. We've never had to worry about the girls. We've never had to make them do their homework, do the revision. They manage themselves. The boys are a completely different kettle of fish. Unless you're hovering over them and forcing them, they won't do it. But if the school isn't putting online for me to see when an exam is, Isaac won't tell me, and it won't be prepared for, and he will go in and sit that exam with fuck all learning. And he was pretty, like, he didn't try and defend himself. He was like, yeah, I know it was really stupid, I shouldn't have done, but then my brain's going, he keeps saying this and then he keeps doing it again. Is he going to do it? And I've said to him, I've written a note with what his punishment was, so he doesn't say, oh, I forgot. You have to do that. And I've put on it, if this or something similar happens to this again, I've said any gig that you're going to for the rest of the year is completely cancelled. And I wrote something else. He would be grounded for a month. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go do some DNA thing. I've got scouts tonight. We are doing tin can cooking, which is basically getting a massive tea light, putting this inside, putting the tea light under like a big empty tin can, and then cooking within the tin can. So like eggs, sausages, you know, baby sausages, things like that. Cocktail sausages, sorry. I shall talk to you later on, tell you how tonight went. I'll try and take a couple little clips, and sorry guys, I can't come either. I am not a bit well. Oh great, so that's the main leader, Francis, isn't coming tonight. 2 of the young leaders aren't coming tonight. I'm going to be stuck there tonight with Paul on my own. Guarantee it. I'm convinced Francis is leaving, and she just keeps going less and less and less. I've, after long thought, and you're going to say, I've heard that before, I've decided to leave this summer. I have a project's the wrong word. I did discuss trying to find like a job or something to do. Previously, I discussed that I worked with a guy in spacecraft in Shipley that puts in sensory rooms and like repairs stuff in sensory rooms. When I say sensory room, I mean like fibre optics, bubble tubes, soft play, all that kind of thing. Infinity tunnels, sensory toys. And he went out on his own with his own business because spacecraft closed, it shut down. And he had asked me previously, and we sort of like skirted around the idea of doing it, and it even started, but then he ran into problems. The whole thing came to a halt, and he's actually up and running again. He's doing it again, and he's asked me, because I've worked with him before, what I used to do was I would like arrange everything with the clients. I would then arrange stuff with the engineers. I'd book hotels. I'd take the calls from the customers with faulty stuff or stuff that needed replaced, or if they needed a maintenance visit or something. So basically any of the admin, like obviously chase the payments, send out the letters, the invoices, all that shit. So I'm going to be getting into, hopefully if he says when business builds a bit, obviously you have to build a client base, and he has some clients from when he worked for spacecraft. So hopefully if business builds a bit, the hours will go up a bit, and you know, fingers crossed. That would be good, because I can't go out and work set hours, because basically I can't fucking move at a certain time in the morning. I'm in so much pain some days I can't work at all. But if I need to get something done over the course of a week, I can make sure I get it fitted in, I get it done, if I can keep my own hours, kind of thing. But within that, he may need, like, we'll have to, because he's in England, he's in Yorkshire, we'll have to do like Zoom meetings, and he was suggesting the only time he's available, he doesn't want to work weekends, so he's talking about doing the weekly catch-ups, like Thursday, Friday night. Scouts is Friday night. He said, well, things may be that I can't always do it on Thursday nights because blah, this, that and the other. Some nights they'll be working late doing the engineering part of things, so I am going to work the Friday nights I can tonight and summer, and then I'm just going to say that I'm not coming back in September because I'm working more hours Friday nights, even if that's not necessarily true. So I thought the reason I came back is because I felt bad about the fact that the kids weren't getting their badges and stuff, and then I thought, the more I'm seeing other people step back from doing things, and things like tonight, Frances, who is the group leader, the top leader, she has sent a message, it's now 3:15, to say she's not going to be at the meeting tonight, when she's the one that changed the entire programme for the year to include this thing tonight. She's one of the people that's been in Scouts her whole life. I know nothing. I'm very much an admin backup helper person. I don't know loads about Scouts and, you know, tin can cooking or whatever the fuck it is. But now 2 of the young leaders aren't showing tonight, and now she said she's not coming. She didn't come in any date in November, any date in December. They didn't start until the 19th of January. None of them would come to the Chief Scout Gold Awards with me to see their scouts get their award. You would think they'd want to. And I've begun to think, this is taking the fucking piss. Plus Eugene, who is the leader over the entire section, which means Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, Explorers, he's leaving. He was meant to leave in December. Then he was meant to leave in March. Now he's staying until summer because he can't get anyone to replace him. No one will do it. And I think he's going to try and push me. And I'm like, it's not happening. He wants someone to be over the Cubs. And I think that person is going to try and push towards the Cubs is me, because he's mentioned having a meeting. So I'm just going to completely back away. It's a shame, because if everybody did their bit, I like to volunteer. I like to get out and do things and see the young people achieving stuff. But it's getting to the point they're taking the piss out of me, and there's some nights I could very well not go in because I'm sore, I've got headache, I just don't feel well, but I go in because I've said I'm going to be there. But she's not coming in tonight. Paul always shows in late, so I'm going to be stood there like a numpty on my own, because I'll be in an hour early, an hour and a half early, because I have to be in with Isaac for Beavers, because he's doing his Duke of Edinburgh Silver now, so he's still volunteering. But anyway, I'm still fucking half an hour of talked shite. Right, I have to not film much this week then, and I think I've already talked shite. And I apologise for talking shite at you people, but yeah. Right, I'm going to go, and the next time you see me is probably going to be a little bit of footage from this evening. Right, okay, tonight we are doing bean can cooking. Oh look, we've actually got one of these sausages that looks cooked. And another one. We're doing well on this table, look. 2 gold winners, not surprised. Yep. We're in the process of cooking here. Let's see who else we've got. Let's go and see some of the girls. There we go. How are we getting on over here? I can hear a sizzle over here. Oh look, there's one that's nicely cooked. Look. There we go. Cooking on gas, or cooking on tea lights with tin cans. I think we're getting on alright here as well. Cavan's getting on alright. Oh, poor Eli, he's not getting a go. Oh, you're going to put it in your mouth, not your eye. Right, okay. Oh, 2 here, I don't know what they're at, let's go see. We're trying to do some bacon and some sausage over here. There we go. We're getting there. I think we have 1 table left. No, we don't. We have 2 tables left, folks. We're trying to get around them all for you. There we go. I've been here already. So I'll go. This is the last table, I think. There we go. Just updating your parents with what you're at. Don't worry, I'm not putting it on Facebook. Oh, they're all cooking really well, actually. Everyone's is really good there. Very good.
It's not cooking.
It is. Some of the others are raw. That's really good. Hello. It is Saturday. I forgot to put you on we're going to Newton Ards to drop Isaac off at AJ's house. That's the girl that was at ours last week. So this is her grand's house, but the mum lives there as well. Her mum and dad don't live in the same house, so don't think Darren's at any danger of being stuck for a couple of hours. We're just going to drop him off, and then we're going into town. I need to buy my aunt's got a 60th birthday due at the end of the month, and I already know what I want to get her, and the only place I can get it is a shop in Belfast. And then we're going to go see Send Help, which apparently is very good, and then we're going back to pick Isaac up. So that's the plans for today. I'll put you on to find out how you get on later. I don't know if I will actually, because it might be dark. We'll see. They're meeting with another person called James. James was not born James. James is trans. Isaac's still not sure if AJ is she or they. Her name is Sophia, that's what her parents call her, but her friends call her AJ, and she does use they pronouns. You have to get up on all this in case you offend people. But Isaac doesn't want to ask, is it she or they? So, we don't know. What else? Anything to tell you? You saw a little bit of clip last night of the Scouts doing their tin can cooking. It's supposed to be teaching them if they don't have certain, like if they're on a hike or something, even if they don't have cooking stuff or something goes wrong, if they carry something as simple as like tea lights, they can cook like beans or sausage or, and it with tin cans. So that's what we were at last night. One of the little boys did nothing but whinge and complain and constantly putting his hand up. Just, is this ready yet? Is this ready yet? I don't want bacon. I don't like bacon. Can I have more of that? What is that? And it went on all night. It's like, sweet Jesus.
Could not do it.
Honest to God. One of the leaders, Rita, I've mentioned her before, she's a paramedic. She actually got quite upset. She's wanting to retire in November. She's not retirement age, she's not near it. I don't know what age Rita is. I would hazard a guess at mid-50s. But she's been a paramedic for 33 years. And I was telling her I thought at one time it was what I wanted to do, my dream job, and I told her why I couldn't. I just didn't have the personality for it, blah, blah, blah. And I told her about the phone calls and when I did the 999 calls I says, and at that point, that was before I had Isaac. I said, now I'm worse. I said, as she said when she was younger, she didn't have any difficulty, but as she gets older, she said, I had to walk out of a house today. She was working that day. Everybody in the house, she didn't say what happened because I don't think they can, but everybody in the house was crying and she had to walk out of the house. She said, I didn't want to break down in front of them because I'm meant to be there being the strong one. She said, but she says, 33 years is enough. She says, I just don't want to do it anymore. And she nearly broke down. I was like, oh my God. She'd be very...
She's probably got PTSD.
She'd be very protective of her sons. What I didn't know, Liam that does boxing, as a matter of fact, both her sons do boxing, and she hates it. As you would, watching your kid getting punched around the head. But Liam had done quite a few boxing matches, always done really well, generally won. And this one she wasn't able to go to. It was in Belfast, and she was working, and her husband called her, and she's like, oh shit, he wouldn't have called me unless there's something. And they had just put a patient on the ambulance to take them to Antrim, and apparently there was a clash of heads during the boxing match, and he had a bleed on the brain and multiple face fractures, like bad ones, and the other lad was knocked unconscious. It wasn't a punch, they clashed heads. He did win and he got his trophy and stuff. The other lad had to be carted off, and they had to take her son to the Royal in hospital, and her at work, your son's multiple face fractures and a bleed on the brain. It's like, oh my God. So he's had to take they went to the specialist and they said after, was it 16 weeks, that he could probably go back, and she was livid. She says, you what? She's a paramedic, she knows what she's talking about. She said facial bones and stuff, she says they're not fully healed and strengthened for like 18 months, and you're wanting to go in and let somebody box you around the head. It's just not happy. So she would be quite protective as a mum, and to think of her doing the job of a paramedic and death, that you have families, and she just can't do it anymore, so she's wanting to leave. I can definitely understand why. It's not flipping, I don't know how they do it. It's just, so it's like I always say to Darren when we're watching, I love watching, like I prefer the paramedic ones, but I'll watch the police ones as well. And I'm like, I don't know how people do that. Again, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I wanted to be in the police, which I got the piss took out of me mercilessly at school. Being a Catholic and wanting to be in the police is a big no-no. But I wanted to be in the police, and then when I got, I'd say, late teens, early 20s, I wanted to be a paramedic. I just always wanted to do it. When I discovered my own personality, it's like, no, I could not do either of these things, because I would be sacked from the police service within a week for the gobshites they have to deal with and the shit they have to take, and I just don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. Darren wanted to be in the police as well, and I don't think he could do it either, but he thinks he could because he's more bad-tempered than I am. So how, the way you're not allowed to, how people would have been once upon a time in the police, they would have put certain people in their place, and you wouldn't have spoken to a police officer a certain way, but now they spit at them and they try and punch them, they bite them, the stuff they say, especially to female officers, is disgusting, and they get away with it, and they have to be treated with respect, and I couldn't do it. Absolutely not. I would either hit somebody, shout, I'd call somebody something, I'd be sacked very, very quickly. But that's besides the point. I can't think of anything else to tell you. We've got Motionless in White on Tuesday. This is Saturday. I think I'm going to come out of it with a migraine, listening to some of the stuff.
That's awesome.
It's very, very growly, and no, growly's the wrong word. You know what do you call that when they sing like that?
It's called.
You know when people sing like, it's not singing, I don't even know what I'm calling it, singing.
They kind of put the mouth over the microphone.
They
and
growl.
to it.
And it's like, oh Jesus. And Isaac said that most of the stuff will be like that. Some of their songs I don't mind. They have some stuff that's quite industrially gothic that sounds like Marilyn Manson. That stuff I like. They've got some emo sounding stuff which I can tolerate, but it's not my favourite. But I can't bear. I don't mind the music. I don't mind the actual guitars and all that stuff. It's the vocal. I cannot bear it. But we'll see. So that's Tuesday. I'm a bit nervous about the whole charging the car palaver. I've since found out that public chargers, this will put you off an electric car for life, listening to me. The public chargers aren't the same everywhere. There's only particular ones that they refer to as fast charge, which to get a full charge on your vehicle, which is what we're going to need, could take up to an hour, and that's the fast one. The other ones are like, is the way we do it at home, and it takes hours, which is no use. But we're still going to be waiting it up to an hour, because we can't even partially charge. We need the full, the distance is that far. So gone are the days where you just pull into the petrol station and fill up. That would have taken us down and up, so it's a pain in the arse. But yeah, I'll switch you off now. I'll switch you back on later. We'll probably do a review for the movie after we've been to see it. I shall check in with you later. Oh, ice cream. It's right in the middle, so they took the seats I tried to book up, was still holding them. Hello, it is Sunday. Switching off the vlog for the week. I still have to do 2 movie reviews. I'll maybe try a chance to do it tomorrow, we'll see. It's just busy at the minute. Isaac's on half term tomorrow, and we've got revision to get. Actually, he's got a big thing for English to do, and he's got maths revision to do. So we need to be ready for some exams. God knows we weren't ready for 2. So Isaac got on okay yesterday. We watched a couple of films. Had a McDonald's. I bet his granddad thought, you're going to eat how much? What was I going to tell you? Yeah, so we went to see Send Help yesterday, which was quite good fun. I wouldn't say it'll not be on my top movies of the year or anything, but it was fun. It managed that humour in horror that's quite hard to get quite well. There were a few funny bits in it, and it was a very... If you've seen Drag Me to Hell, the type of gross out sort of things that are like, oh god, and you don't want to look at it because it's gross, it was like that.
Same guy,
It made me... Was it?
I'm sure.
Sam Raimi did Drag Me to Hell? Right, well I'm
Or
shit.
he had something to do with it.
So it's Raimi, it's not like total Raimi, it's not as good as Evil Dead, and it's not as over the top as... It was Evil Dead Rise, wasn't it, that he did recently? But it's definitely worth a watch, it's definitely a fun film. And then we watched Rental Family, the new one with Brendan Fraser. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing about it apart from he was living in Japan. What it turns out it is, apparently there's this is a true thing that there is, and maybe they have it everywhere, but anyway, in Japan, people rent fake, like, actors to play people. Like, a wife's found out her husband's having an affair. They hire an apology service, which basically is a female actress to pretend to be the mistress, and he brings them to the house and she has to apologise to the wife, and they usually say something like, it was all me, blah blah blah. So they maybe hire someone to show up to your funeral or wedding to make it look like that you know more people. So it's basically a fake friends and family service, and they're called rental family. And Brendan Fraser is a struggling actor in Japan, and he takes on a job, but he has got multiple different jobs that he's doing at the same time, so you sort of get this window into the families that he's involved with. Now, we know people that actually left the cinema when it was on, and I'll be quite honest, it was a 5 out of 5 for me. I loved it, thought it was brilliant. I was expecting to find it quite boring, tiresome, and what's that word when things are like, they're like, people say, oh, it's Oscar worthy, and it's pretentious. I was expecting it to be pretentious. Now, I really like Brendan Fraser as an actor. I find him very, what was the word I couldn't think of last night, and if it's gone again. He's very honest, relatable, there's a word, he's convincing. I believe him when he plays a character, he becomes the character he plays. It was very good. Very much enjoyed it. It wasn't like anything I've ever seen before. It was one of those things that I like where it's just about the acting. Not saying it again. Darren keeps saying "mida" all the time when it's Japanese, Chinese, Korean. It doesn't matter what it is, and he knows it winds me up and I have to correct him. I've stopped doing it now. "Mida" is Korean. But yeah, definitely recommend it. I recommend both, to be honest, although Send Help is really cringy in places, as in I had to look away twice, and I'm not squeamish. I'm squeamish about a couple of things, and I can't tell you what they are because that'll tell you what's going to happen. But I did
When I was laughing, I turned to look at you and your face was all screwed up.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just certain things that I find really, oh no, I don't want to say that, and a couple of them were in there.
I think I actually audibly laughed.
You did audibly laugh twice when they were doing bits like that. Darren likes it when it's over the top gross. So, yep, definitely.
As long as it's realistic.
If you don't mind a bit of gore, and it's not over the top, it's mostly just a story with a few of those bits thrown in. If you don't mind that, it's fun. And Rental Family was just brilliant, I thought. It's a long time since I watched something and thought, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have to give that a 5 out of 5. I mean, it's been ages. Even Sinners last year got a 4.5 out of 5 because I felt it dragged at the start. It took too long to get into it. And I love that film. I think it's brilliant. It was my number 1 film of last year, but I just felt it was slow to start with. But this one, I couldn't complain about it. And most people, I think it was Sean, said he thought Rental Family dragged. I didn't. Really enjoyed it. So anyway, right. So that's a wee short review for you if you fancy watching either of them. I have to review them for my main channel when I get a chance. Somebody was asking me to be on a stream tomorrow night. It's like, I have to text Kira and tell her I don't think I can do either of the next 2 weeks. With soft play was this week. We're in Dublin on Tuesday night, which means the time we get back on Wednesday morning is going to be ridiculous, and I am not going to be able to get up and be out of the house. I know I'm going to need Wednesday for rest, and then the following week, Thursday I have to go to my dad's because I won't have been there on Tuesday because I'll have been going to Dublin. The following week Isaac has science after school on Monday and Wednesday, so we'll have to be in to pick him up on Wednesday, which is the day that I normally take them. And Thursday I think Sophie does afternoon preschool now on a Thursday and Friday, so they're no good either. So it's going to be a couple of weeks before I feel really bad because it's like, I don't want people to think I'm just making excuses because they can't be arsed. It's not that at all. Because last week we didn't go because we had to pick up Isaac from that class and the week before we didn't go because they were sick. So it's already not been for a couple of weeks, and there's a couple more will not be going. So that's a bit crap. But anyway, is there anything I've forgotten that's of any interest? I can't think of it. At least you'll have a bit of concert footage next week to look at. That'll be a bit different. So I shall check in with you next week.
You got your crash test dummies?
Oh yes, Crash Test Dummies are playing in Belfast in October. I'm delighted to get to see them again, and hopefully this time a bit. Now, to be fair, the place I saw them last time was beautiful. It was amazing to see them in somewhere like that. But what I didn't realise was the tickets that you bought, you could sit anywhere. People just came and sat wherever, and I could have been in the front row because I was one of the first in. I went and sat where my assigned seating, well, it wasn't numbered or anything, it was just like an area, and it turns out you could have sat anywhere. This is seated as well, and I'm going to make sure I'm there early enough to be right up near the front. But yeah, Darren will have to tolerate it, I'm afraid. I'm kind of on my own in the household for being a Crash Test. I don't know why. I think they're really funny. I love his voice. I think it's unique. Yeah, so.
Would you drive that kite from?
Can't see it. Oh, look at that dog. Oh, this looks like a fucking tiger. Did you see it?
With all the muck on it?
No, I would not. There's a dog that had like tiger stripes. That was really weird. And it wasn't one of those ones that's been sprayed. You know, people that get their dogs sprayed to look like different animals.
Speed.